Hello everybody, my name is Ryalus and welcome to this video. In this video I will be covering R5, Rift Raid. I'm going to be showing off my two personal teams, and all you have to do is copy the roles and stats, and then you can easily accomplish the same thing. You do not have to have the same monsters, however there are a lot of free to play monsters which you can follow up with. Now I'll be giving my opinions and the roles and what you need to do. We'll start with the left team. My current left team is my triple damage dealer team. I currently have a frontline tank, which is my Darren. He is on revenge, but you don't need to worry about that. All you need to worry about is specific roles. He's the main frontline tank. I've then got a main healer, which would be Colleen, because she heals the most out of my two healers, because he only heals 15%. I then have a backup healer and cleanser, which is Konomiya. I am then running 3 damage dealers. I'm currently running Xiaolin, Hua, and Cadiz. You definitely do not have to have a Cadiz, that is for sure. I'm using him because I was lucky enough to pull him. You could use anyone you like that's a good damage dealer. Honestly, you could even use Lauren. You could use Crow. Crow works really well. You could use Crow. He works really well. He's a very free to play option. Mine isn't 6-star. I'm just about to do it after this video. And so that is what you need to do for a triple damage dealer team. For your roles. In your roles for your double damage dealer team, which is the team I have in mid, I've got a frontline tank, I've got a second frontline tank and backup healer, which would be the Praha. Then I have a main healer, which would be the Mi Ying, because she's AoE heal, cleanse, buff extension. However, I do not have any buffs on my team, so that's useless. Then double damage dealer. I'm currently running Perna and Lumei. Lumei was free to play. She was a Hall of Heroes, which is actually pretty good. Her stats aren't the greatest, but this team works very well. I'm using Perna because his second skill does a lot of damage. I don't really have any alternatives built yet. As you can see, Crow is not yet 6-star. And I will be replacing Perna with Crow, so you guys should do the same thing. So let's start the battle and let's see how it goes. So let's talk about the stat requirements. First, your frontline monsters. Your two frontline, for the mid team, we'll cover the mid team first. If you're having your two frontlines, so that would be, or 3 frontlines, however I've got there, you should have 25,000 HP each and at least 1.5k defense total. It's not plus, just total. And you should easily be able to do it. If you have a 4-man frontline, you can go for, which is my left team. You can sit at about 22,000 HP and 1.3k defense, just because if there's more, the damage mitigation is spread out. Backline monsters should have about 20,000 HP and 800 defense, so they've still got to be tanky. If a monster's really squishy and still dies, that monster's useless. However, let's get into the speed and accuracy and resistance, which is most important. Your healers and cleansers should be about 200 speed plus, sit around that area. 200 speed of violent, and only have your healers and cleansers on violent. If your other monsters are on violent, they're taking turns from the healers and cleansers, and the boss will hit you more. That's his Rageful Roar. So try not to have lots of people on violent unless it's a necessity. Your frontline tanks should, and also your healers and cleansers have 70% resistance. The more resistance, the better, because if they don't get stunned, you don't die. If you don't die, that's consistency. That is what you are aiming for. Your tanks, they should be as slow as possible, like really slow, because if they take turns, they're taking turns from the damage dealers and cleansers. They don't really need accuracy. I'd probably sit at like 15 accuracy. So if you're using the Fire Panda or the Darien, they can apply defense break, which helps speed up runs, which makes it more consistent. However, keep them at 70% resistance. You don't want them to be stunned. If they're stunned, they don't do anything. And that means contributions low and things like that. Then your damage dealers. Your damage dealers should be about 150 to 200 speed total, in my opinion, because that means they get a decent amount of turns going, and they also, because they always need to take turns to do damage, that's for sure. 15% resistant accuracy is pretty decent, I would say, because like if you're having a look at Xiaolin, she needs to apply defense breaks. Defense breaks are really good. So that is what I would suggest you do. Make sure they've got good accuracy. Resistance on your damage dealers should probably be as high as possible without losing other stats, because if they're losing other stats, it's not worth having them having high resistance. But if they don't get stunned, they're always going to be dealing damage. So that is very, very important. So here are some, in my opinion, here are some monsters you can use for frontline tanks. You can use Diaz, the Death Knight. You can use Darian, the Light Vagabond. If you're really good, if you've got decent runes, you can use Bastet. You can use the Fire Pandia. You can use any other tanky monster. What is he using on front? You can use Anavel. That's actually what I'm coming to next. Here are some different healers you can use as well. You can use Colleen. I would recommend always using Colleen. Some people will kick you from parties if you're not using a Colleen. You can use Praha, as I am. She's really good frontline. She's one of the best in my opinion. You can use Miang, the Water Sky Dancer. Wouldn't recommend using Chasoon, however, unless you have to. If you've only got a Chasoon as pretty much your main healer, I would still recommend going with Konomiya. Colleen, though. That team is a lot better, and they're free to play as well. Cleansers. You can use Amana, I think his name is, the Light Anubis. If you've got him, lucky you. Definitely lucky you, he's insane. You can use Lisa, the Fire Neostone agent. Anavel's really good. You can use the Wind Dragon, Jumi. You can use Delphoy, the Wind Undyne. She's also pretty good. But in my personal opinion, I would recommend using Konomiya, the Water Garuda. He's my personal opinion of best monster. Some damage dealers you can use if you don't have, here's just some. You can use Hua, the Fire Rakshasa, Xiaolin, Water Kung Fu Girl. You can use the Wind Homunculus if you go Whirling Wind Path, I believe it's called. Oh, why is that passing up? Why is it black and white? I don't like it. Excluding the boss monsters. Why is it black and white? That's good. Wait, what? Oh, I tap that. Select all boss monsters. Boom, boom, boom. No, that's a Verrat. That's not a... worst time to get that. You can use Stella, the Water Assassin. You can use Brandy, a Fire Polar Queen. She's really good. You can use the Fire Monkey. You can also shove him frontline. He's decent. He's a semi-damage dealer in my opinion. And he is probably the last damage dealer I'd recommend. There's obviously lots you can use, like Cadiz. You can use quite a lot. But that are probably the most common I've seen. I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions about R5, let me know. I won't be covering the Katarina R5 because I don't do it personally. It's not reliable enough for my tastes, especially since they've changed it. Here are my teams. If you guys want me to do a free-to-play R5 team, I can definitely do that. I kind of did cover it in this video. But I hope this video helped you guys out, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.